Gail Jayasinghe directs his forwards to the blind side. And it looks like the Central Province have come away with it, so they've turned that ball over. Now this is where they're dangerous. Hettiarachchi thumps it up, and the wet ball is going to be difficult for the fullback to take. That's a big hit by
Captain
Danushka Talvatta. And he's going to have a word because there was a high tackle early on.
Right. Marginal, so I will let it go, right? But make sure that he comes down first, right?
That's just touch and go. Referee, you heard him say marginal, so that's good refereeing by Dinka Peiris. Not sending off the player for that because, again, there was no malicious intent. The player was almost on the ground, but almost is not good enough.
True. He had already committed to the tackle, but referee says fair enough. So wet ball now is going to maybe change things a little bit. Let's see who will adjust to this condition here, but the ground is beautiful. It's just going to be a little bit skiddy on top, so depends on your boots as well as to how much footage you'll have.
Yes, most of the players opting now for these plastic cleats rather than the studs. That might come back to haunt them, as that's also not straight, but Nisal Ferreira comes away with it. He's had a good game so far carrying the ball. He looks a nice big lad. And Eran Samarakun takes it forward again. The prop and the second row carrying the ball for Central Province. Gayal puts a little chip kick in.
No, Mark.
Mark was not called, so it wasn't a fair catch.
Knock forward.
And the referee says knock forward just before that great pass was given away. And the Central Province will have, or the Western Province will have a defending scrum.
Still nice to see from the fly half there. Good thinking from him, just trying to put his winger away. And given the fact that it's a wet ball, just hanging it up in the air as well. Nice, good to see these youngsters thinking ahead and having a look over the back of that line. Fabulous stuff.
Fine. Sit. Yes, sit. Sebal.
That scrum also disintegrating, so this is Anurag Herath bursting away once again, running it from his own 22. That player was surely not on his feet when he went into contest that ball, and Central Province have now gotten it away. Was certainly down on one knee, Danushka Talvatta, so that's really unfortunate for the Western Province. Udangamua trying to bust his way up, and he's got free of 3 tackles, managed to get the basketball pass away, and this is going to be another scrum for the Central Province. Last-ditch tackle, Darsha Tilakaratne goes down. Manages to hold on. That was clearly not releasing the tackler, but we're still playing because the advantage is with the Central Province team. Eran Samarakun takes it forward. Nisal Pereira looks a lot like Sajid Saranga when he runs. Kyle Vijay-Singh. Now that's lost forward. That's a terrible mistake by the Central Province, rather.
The referee says carry on play because he hasn't blown the whistle.
And, well, he probably should have stopped it there because Sirina Vijay-Singh might get away now. Danushka Talvatta for the line, steps inside and just stopped short. So the advantage coming back to haunt the Western Province team. Stay on your feet, says the referee. So a lot of interest here in these calls. Well, Jivan, at least he's consistent.
Consistently bad.
You didn't hear it from me. Darsha Tilakaratne puts it away to touch. You will see it one more time. Nisal Pereira taking it in and drops it cold. There's really no excuse for that sort of technique, carrying the ball into the tackle like that. You've got to be protecting it under one arm, leading with your shoulder, especially so close to the line.
Especially in these conditions as well. There we go.
Sigurds goes back and gets the ball away to Kanute now. Kanute puts the big kick in, but once again to the danger man. Vijay-Singh. Put on the gas. This is Hettiarachchi. Hettiarachchi again bursts through the tackle. Puts the kick in, but he might have too many players back here. And just getting back in time is the reserve for the Western Province side. But again, a little bit of ghosting through a gap from Rochana Hettiarachchi is good to see.
He's just got a good turn of pace. It's wonderful to see the thinking on the lad as well. He's in the corner, running out of options. Tries to have a look infield to see there's somebody actually backing him up for support. Good thinking. He's been watching a lot of decent rugby.
Absolutely, he's a real talent. I think he's been tapped by Candy Sports Club. As you see, Vijay Singh going for a long drop goal attempt, and he will be understudying the likes of Fazil Marija at practice, and that can't be a bad thing at all.
Absolute luxury, mate. Wonderful to see that these young players get to play with some of the greatest fly halves in here in Sri Lanka. And Fazil is such a studious academic when it comes to the game. This lad will grow in stature if he spends time just watching him in practice.
Kanute waits for the restart. They've botched a few already.
Knock back!
That's the winger. Rumesh Ramdas on the left wing there, and Nisal Pereira carries it forward once again, manages to get the ball away to Udangamua, and one thing he's got to work on, Bhuvaneka Udangamua, is keeping the ball in his hand, firstly catching it, and then keeping it in his hand when he can do so much damage. You look at it here. Nicely picked up there by Nisal Pereira. Gets up on his feet instantly. It's good work from the big lad. Manages to get it away here. And Udangamua really needs to protect that ball better when he takes it into contact.
Great skill from the second row forward. Outstanding stuff.
Anuradha Herat on the open side flank. So as we can see, the Central Province have a number of ball carriers in the forwards and the backs. Unfortunately for the Western Province, they seem to have only one ball carrier of note, who is Herat. And he's going to have some tired legs later on in this half if he keeps playing at with this work rate.
Well, that's generally Herat. He runs out of petrol so often. He just runs and runs his heart out. And then he just freezes up for a few minutes, and then hopefully the side will back him up. Here's Western Province with a chance to try and get out of here. They need to get out.
Chip kick, but that's not a good chip kick.
Number 4, number 3 offside. Number 4 and 3. Blue body bone penalty here, scrum there.
Number 4 and number 3 offside, says the referee, after that kick was put in by the retreating Talvatta. You can see that incident again. We'll show you exactly what the referee meant. After that kick was put through, that's the kick. So everyone in white is offside now, unless... So he was calling number 4 and number 3. Those guys were advancing, but number 4 and number 3 were walking back.
Right, crowd!
I think he meant number 14 somehow. But here we go. Decent scrum from the central, from the Western Province.
Kyle Jasinga, Darsha Tilakaratne. This is
nice. Beautifully done.
Nice dummy. Not many people use a dummy nowadays, Sean. So when it comes out, it catches everyone by surprise.
Certainly does. I think people have got too used to hitting up, looking to try and create the space after that. Here it is again.
Here we go. That's Ramukkanage. That was just before the dummy was thrown, but he runs straight into Ramdas there.
Well, the Western Province still trying to settle down. They haven't really taken off, whereas the Central Province, every time they move, are very cohesive, get it right. They've got the understanding going. Nice to see.
Good work again by Nisal Pereira, who has been very good in this game. Not 10 meters, says the referee. And the rule in the line-out is that both three-quarter lines, or anybody who is not in the line-out, not within the 15-meter lines, not part of the line-out, need to be 10 meters behind the line-out. So clearly the Western Province were not 10 meters behind in that instance, and the penalty is given from where they should have been. So Vijay Singh will fancy this range.
True. Criminal offence from the Western Province. Just not looking at the touch judge, obviously, because the 10 meters clearly indicated by the judge who would have been shouting, get back, but no one looked, and they'll probably be punished by Tilina on this occasion.
It's got a very Johnny Wilkinson stance over the ball, and that one is just to the right of the uprights, so it's just a stance just like Johnny Wilkinson.
and it's half time. So 12-3 to the Central Province, playing much better rugby on the day, despite the rain coming down very quickly. And the drizzle has changed the conditions underfoot as well, and the ball obviously a little bit more greasy. But today I think it's going to be a very interesting second half, because the Western Province will be given a good telling from their coach Martis, who's going to sit them down and say, listen, this is what I want the game to look like. We talked about it in practice, but it hasn't happened so far, so let's try and see what we can do in the second half.
For sure. Ajit, you want to recap that half? It's been very interesting.
Yeah, as I said, they took some time to settle down, but once they got their act together, especially the Central Province team, they had a pattern of play that they were sticking to, and it paid dividends. We saw 2 wonderful tries, a lot of skills, as Chandrashan said, and good to know that. And altogether, Chandrashan, I believe that we saw more skills from the Central Province side than the Western Province side in that first half.
Certainly did, Ajit. I mean, if you look at the quality of the play, and here's one of those tries that they scored, the individual skill levels are really good for the Central Province. It seems like they've been playing together a longer time, only because Dhamaraja has such a big equation in there. But the fact is that when they get their chances, they do the little things really well. They've got good basics in their engines. Look at that wonderful try. Big man running at pace, and he's obviously that wonderful. Look at the ball in the hand, right hand, running hard, everything working at the right pace. Still knows exactly where the line is as well. Beautiful to see in slow motion. He'll be very proud. His parents will love this one. Yeah. His mates will be screaming about it. Look at that. Wonderful angles as well on the cameras.
Yeah, I think all the Kandy players, and especially from Dharmaraja, would love to see something like that, and they will cherish that for some time. But again, another thing we see, Jeevan, is that in the Central Province side, the standing start and the way they accelerate, I think they got tremendous energy and strength to do that. They, from a standing start, they are just able to take off and reach maximum speed with 3-4 strides.
For sure, Ajit. You know, they are very well conditioned. These boys, as Shan correctly pointed out, most of these boys are in the Central Province team are made up of Dhamaraja. So they're very brutal in attack, and of a standing start, you know, the acceleration is phenomenal, and they've obviously been putting a lot of hard yards in the gym and a lot of hard work, you know, with speed training and so on. So they seem to have that extra little bit in them, you know, to just get some momentum of a standing start and really capitalize on these on whatever ball comes their way, Ajit.
Yes, and we saw the score sheet there. 2 tries for Central Province, none for the Western Province. They had a penalty, and score is 12-3 at halftime. All to look forward to in the second half. And the question is, who will come out with more enthusiasm and the energy levels, who will display it in a greater way, and lot to look forward to in the second half. One question, and soon we'll talk about that soon after the commercial break.
We're back here as the rains come down and the lightning flashes to overhead at this racecourse grounds. We're watching the match between the Western Province in the blue and the Central Province in the white. It's been a very interesting game so far. The Western Province will be upset that they conceded those 2 tries within a few minutes of each other to Central Province. But on the scoreboard, it's a Central Province team leading 12 points to 3 and deserved leaders at this point of the game, Sean.
Very much so. I think they've played much better rugby. They've looked the better side. They've adapted to the conditions a lot better, and they've got some very good players who've shown remarkable skill. Jeevan was talking about the lower body strength of these kids, really, really sharp, and my goodness, the lightning, as you can see, flashing up all over the place. But the rain is also beating down. Second half, we'll probably run as much as we can manage, and here's the referee just coming on the park.
Well, one issue, of course, that Ajit was talking about just a while ago is safety. You got lightning, and when do you make a decision whether you stop the game or not? That's something that's going to be at the back of referee Dinka Pirisa's mind.